Hello, hello. Welcome to today's case study for the Become Club Mindfulness and Meditation Program. I'm so happy to have you here and share the story of one of our Become Club members. If you don't know who I am, my name is Amber. Become Club is my 7-week program, which helps people learn how to manage their stress and anxiety with mindfulness and meditation so that they can feel peace and learn how to be present in their lives. Doing this work is my life's passion, and I've been lucky to work with some incredible people to be able to take their stress and anxiety and give them the tools they need to find peace. And that's exactly what I'm going to be talking to one of the Become Club members, Chris, about today. If you are curious about what it's like to go through the step by step program, you're going to love today's case study. Chris describes how, when he first joined the program, he had been meditating for 5 or 10 minutes every day, and he was a little bit skeptical of all the supposed benefits of meditation. And after completing the Become Club program, he is now better able to tune in to his emotions in a way that he wasn't able to before. And now, when stressful moments arise, he's much more able to manage his internal dialogue and speak to himself with a lot more kindness. And I can't wait for you to hear all about how he did that today. So, without further ado, let's jump into my conversation with Chris. Hi, Chris. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you here and to speak with you today. Let's just right off the bat, would you mind introducing yourself? Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah. Well, I'm Chris and I'm 39 years old. I live in San Francisco. And what I like to do is yeah, walk around the city a lot. I'm really into vegetarian cooking, playing music and recording music. And I'm a big book nerd, so I spend a lot of time reading nonfiction.
Okay. All right. And what do you do for work?
Oh, I'm a biologist, so I work in
Okay.
kind of the pharmaceutical industry.
Okay. All right. So let's start like right at the beginning. What made you decide to join Become Club and start diving in deeper into your meditation practice?
Yeah, it's somewhat unusual, I think, but maybe less and less so. I'm someone who was just taking a few months off of work for a while. I had just come out of a layoff, so I had some time to kind of disconnect from work. And so I was kind of immersing myself in kind of a healthier lifestyle for a few months to try to recharge before I joined back into the workforce.
Mhm.
And so this took lots of different forms, but one was kind of exploring a little deeper the world of meditation and kind of doing it more consistently. And I just became more and more curious about learning different meditation techniques and seeing where it would lead me, I guess.
Yeah. So you had a meditation practice before you joined Become Club because that's how we got connected. That's how you found
Right.
me. So what did that look like? And, after you'd been practicing for a while, like why was it important for you to go and invest in sort of a more in-depth program
Yeah.
instead of just kind of continuing doing what you were doing?
Right. Yeah, I did think about it quite a bit because I guess before joining Become Club, I did have a regular meditation practice, but I really kind of looking back at it now, it really was much more of like using it as a relaxation technique. I would
Mm.
say almost every time I would meditate, I would be lying down for really just a very short amount of time, like 5 to 10 minutes or so, using guided meditations. And I would say more than half the time I would fall asleep. And
Okay.
so it wasn't,
Common.
I guess for a while, it didn't really feel all that serious in terms of exploring a lot of the mental aspects of meditation that I had heard and read about. It was really more of a, lots of box breathing, lots of relaxation techniques as a way to kind of settle my mind a bit. And so with that, I hadn't really done a lot of meditation beyond the 15-minute mark.
Hmm.
I hadn't done a lot of different types of meditation. It was really just kind of lying down with my eyes closed and listening to some recordings. And it was really just that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people listening to this will be able to relate to that. And like that's how I started, right? A lot of people, I think, come to meditation because we are experiencing, the daily stresses of life and we just are looking for a way to feel a little bit better. And meditation is really great at that. Um, so what were you sort of looking for when you joined Become Club? What was the next level for you?
Yeah, and that was not something that I was 100% sure of, but I knew that I wanted to kind of take a deeper dive to see where it would take me, because I
Hmm.
know, I'd heard about people who go on these long meditation retreats, and that seems to be so far removed from the experience that I was having with my practice. And so I
Mm,
thought, I'm not ready to do something like that, obviously, but like, what is the next step to kind of explore this a little bit further and to kind of know more about what meditation actually is? Because my
hmm.
understanding was it's just sitting with your eyes closed and focusing on your breath. But I knew that there was more. And um, I guess what I was really looking for was kind of more guidance and more of a
Mm.
structured way to learn whatever there was to be learned about meditation. And so I think, yeah, your program was kind of a perfect fit for that. I think, yeah, I had the enough interest to really want to do that. So um,
Yeah.
it made a lot of sense for me.
Okay. Awesome. And beyond like some guidance, maybe just curiosity of like, what more is there to this whole meditation thing? Was there anything specific that, you hoped that you might learn or accomplish when you joined?
Sure. I mean, I think that, from what I read, you can't really always trust people on the internet on these different message boards, of course, but like, some people really unlock, some like superpowers with meditation. It seems they have these big breakthroughs, mentally. They say that it changes their life completely. For me, I wasn't really expecting something like that. I was somewhat
Hmm.
skeptical of these like big claims that people on the internet make, on Reddit or wherever. But yeah, for me, what I wanted is to just see with a deeper meditation practice how it would actually impact me mentally or even physically. I was curious if it would allow me to um, kind of control my inner monologue or dialogue a little bit better, kind of shift away from negative thought patterns, or at least catch myself um, thinking things that are just, voices in my head kind of thing. I'm not really sure how to say it, but I guess, um, negative self-talk is an example of like it would be nice to be able to like put that in check a little bit more easily sometimes, kind of catch yourself. I think a lot of
Mm.
people kind of experience that. I was also curious if meditation would allow me to kind of maintain better focus in conversations or in reading or, listening to lectures or anything like that. Yeah, I was really intrigued at what meditation could really build as like a life skill.
Yeah, absolutely. And once you were in the program, how did you find it? What was your experience like?
Well, I was, kind of diving into these modules that you've created over the course of 7 weeks, kind of taking one module each week. kind of watching these lectures that you've created and kind of having, I would consider it a more serious meditation practice that goes beyond like a 10-minute mark of
Hmm.
meditation, kind of each week learning something new about meditation or taking it from one specific angle, um, and kind of having kind of a more serious practice. So um, when I started the program, I was meditating more 25 to 30 minutes a day, which I had never done before, and kind of learning these new aspects of meditation each week, kind of chunking it into different subjects that you've created.
Yep.
And there's also, your Discord channel, which I found really helpful in just kind of setting intentions for the week, kind of
Yeah.
messaging. I thought that was a really nice part of it also.
Okay. Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. What was it like to go from meditating like 10, 15 minutes a day, falling asleep to what you say is like a little bit more of a serious meditation practice, like 30
Yeah.
minutes
Hmm.
every day for 7 weeks?
Right.
That's a pretty big challenge for some people. I think it could
Absolutely.
be. What was
Yeah.
that like for you?
Yeah. I would say at first I was a little apprehensive about whether or not I would, want to make time, that amount of time for meditation, right?
Hmm.
But when you really step back and think about like, the way I spend my time can there's an easy way to carve out another 15 minutes in the day, or an extra
Yeah.
20 minutes of the day. Um, and, at first I wasn't sure if I would enjoy it, but actually the more I did it, the more it became part of a routine that I looked forward to. And it wasn't really as challenging as I thought to kind of do a longer meditation practice. So that was a really pleasant surprise, I'd say.
Okay, fantastic. Did you, just out of curiosity, did you meditate at the same time every day,
Hmm.
like as part of like a, you know, regular routine, or did you just kind of like find pockets of time where you could to
Yeah,
practice?
I think for some weeks I might have a 3 or 4 day streak where I would kind of be able to have it at the same time every day, but it became kind of just plugged in throughout the day.
Yeah.
As time went on, I kind of felt like it was enough to like really, the mindfulness was on my mind to like come back for it, like, oh, I didn't
Yeah.
meditate today. Yeah, I should do that. And in the afternoon do it instead of in the morning. But no, I didn't really have make it a consistent part of my day. I guess if I was working and kind of had more of a routine in that way with my job, I would probably find a specific block of time to kind of devote to it so that I would, keep at it and do it every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. And in like different seasons of life too. Like I've gone through seasons where I do it same time, same place every day. And then now it's sort of like, okay, like how do I feel? And so it's cool to be able to experience both for sure.
Mhm.
Um, what would you say was your biggest aha moment from your experience? Like what is maybe one example of something that clicked into place for you as a result of going through this program and this experience that you've been through?
Yeah, I think that there were a few of them for sure. I guess kind of going back to feeling a little skeptical before starting the program about like the benefits of meditation. There are a
Hmm.
few moments that where it really kind of locked in for me, and I was able to during some of our meditations really feel certain physical emotions in my body in a way that I hadn't before. And I thought that was really interesting. It just seemed like another level of mindfulness that is helpful to be aware of. Um, kind of related to that was the mindful eating exercise, the idea that, you can really take any moment and like break it down into much smaller moments within that moment. Like as
Mm.
you're eating a piece of food, it's very interesting to think about like if you really spend enough time and effort to focus on it, something as routine as eating kind of a new experience all over again. It sounds kind of funny to say it that way, but
No, it's not it's not
it was
funny to me at all.
surprising.
I completely understand. Yeah. And how has that sort of transitioned from your practice into your life? Like these kind of like aha moments, how do you apply them to your day-to-day life now?
Yeah, I think of course I still have like a long way to go, I think, in terms of like really changing the way that I think on a day-to-day basis, but I think
Mm,
this is definitely a very helpful step in the right direction. And I think there are a few examples during the 7 weeks where I felt like the meditation practice definitely made me more patient during everyday life events, being stuck in a traffic jam or, waiting for a street light to go green so that you can cross the street
yeah.
and get lunch when you're really hungry. Yeah, there are just a few moments where I felt like with the meditation practice in my everyday life, I was able to kind of be aware of my feelings a little bit more than
Mm,
I normally am. And I think that it was helpful for me for sure. Or
yeah.
still it is helpful. It's just like,
Yeah.
everyone has good days and bad days where they feel more in touch and more mindful than others. But for some days, I feel really locked in and very mindful throughout the day. And you can only attribute that to practicing that kind of way of thinking, I think.
Yeah. So you've used the phrase locked in a couple times. I've heard you use it. What does that mean to you? What is that experience like?
I think I say it to mean like really kind of in touch with what I'm thinking
Mm,
or what I'm experiencing. And there's a lot of impulsive behavior and mindlessness, I guess, throughout the day that comes with multitasking or just being really busy or stressed in some way. And I think
mm,
with practicing meditation, I find that I can really be more present, and it definitely feels different.
yeah. Okay. And you touched a little bit on this with the mindful eating, maybe a little bit about like patience throughout your day,
Mhm.
but I'm all about like taking our practice off of our cushion and going into our everyday life because I think that's where the change happens, right? It's all well and good to practice these habits in private, but bringing them into our everyday life is where the magic really happens. So, what are some tangible ways that you've noticed mindfulness benefiting your life?
I think probably the biggest one is um, kind of going to it, anticipating when I'm anticipating moments of stress.
Mm,
It's like some kind of interview or kind of a social situation I don't feel quite comfortable with. I think it comes as sort of a comforting technique to kind of calm myself down or kind of get my thoughts together or kind of be more kind to myself before the stress really ramps up. And I think that's been really helpful for me.
yeah. Can you expand on that a little bit? Like being kind to yourself.
Sure, yeah. I mean, the rain meditation practice that was part of one of your modules, it really I sort of used it to kind of have a conversation with myself about something that I was dealing with, and I think that it's really helpful to use your own, it's like using your own voice to talk to yourself, and to be sort of like an outside person to kind of give you comfort or just to tell you, yeah, it's okay or it's understandable the way that you feel.
Mm,
I think just acknowledging your feelings in that way sets you up to like deal with them a little bit better, with
mm.
whatever it is.
Have
And
you noticed yourself like dealing with it a little bit better now that you are able to sort of have this dialogue with yourself?
sure, I think I come at certain situations with a little bit more positivity, I would say. I
Okay.
think yeah, I think that I've been able to combat kind of negative thinking a little bit easier than I usually do. I think that I've always been pretty good at it, but I think that with a mindfulness practice like this, it's gone up a level for sure.
Amazing. I love to hear that. That is incredible. Um, well, was there anything that maybe you weren't expecting? I think you came in with a pretty open mind.
Mm.
But was there anything that sort of pleasantly surprised you?
Yeah, I would say that I think well, one big one was that, expanding the meditation practice in terms of the amount of time to devote to it, wasn't as burdensome as I thought it might be before I started. One of my hesitations was like, oh, can I really make time for this?
Mm,
Um, and will it be worth it? And I would say that it was a surprise to find that in one of your modules, the mini retreat that you can, it's actually after a while, it's not very hard to do a long meditation or what
yeah.
is long meditation, when you're at the level that I'm at, doing like something that's like longer than 30 minutes, it feels like something that would be daunting, but it's, sort of a surprise that after a while it doesn't really feel that way and you can kind of look forward to it in a certain way.
Yeah, absolutely. Was so you mentioned like, it's if you really think about like the things that you spend your time doing, I mean, that we all do during a day, right? Like it's not that hard to find like 15 minutes here and there. What
Yeah.
were some of the sort of maybe like small shifts or negotiations that you had to make in your life to sort of make time to do this? Because I mean, it is work, right? There are
Mhm.
you have to like watch the lessons, you have to make time to do the practice. So, like, what were some of the ways that you made it fit into your life?
Yeah, I think one big one is keeping kind of mindless internet use to a minimum.
Mm,
Like everyone needs that kind of break. I feel like at this in this day and age, like it's just very normal to go on the internet, not with any purpose, but just to be on the internet and to like get that little dopamine or whatever. I
yeah,
think like
totally.
I think it's like a matter of like not letting that get carried away for me.
Hmm.
I would certain websites like Reddit, I feel like they are addictive in a way, but I just find myself after a while recognizing that I am spending more time than I need to on the internet. And I think that's a big part of it. Because if you look at your screen time on your phone, I think that should tell you that you can make time to do other things.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people could probably resonate with that, myself included.
Yeah,
Um, Absolutely. Okay. Well, Chris, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Just one more question.
sure.
What would you tell someone who was in your shoes who is considering joining Become Club? So, like, say there's somebody watching this right now, right? They're exactly where you were, right? They're sort of curious, maybe they're a little bit skeptical, but they're not quite sure if they should make the investment. What would you say to those people? What would be your advice?
I would say that if you're even a little bit interested in meditation, it's definitely worth exploring. And I think it's good to come in with an open mind. And there's a lot that can be gained with meditation, I believe now. I was skeptical at the beginning that there was, actual benefits that I would feel, but I think like, something that's 7 weeks long to feel benefits and to experience changes within those 7 weeks, I think speaks to the power of having a meditation practice that's a little bit more structured. And I think I, yeah, I recommend it for that reason. Yeah, I'm very happy that I decided to jump in and do the 7 course module. I definitely, everything I'm saying is true. Obviously, I'm not someone who just says things, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's interesting that I have experienced positive changes with increasing the meditation practice, having your guidance with it too, and learning more about it. And I can see it like going beyond there too, the more I do it,
Mhm.
obviously, that's not like I've plateaued in any kind of way. I think
Yeah.
keeping it up is going to be key also to kind of continue to experience and have control over my thoughts, so to speak.
Where do you see it all going? What do you hope to sort of achieve, moving
Yeah.
forward post program?
Yeah. I mean, I think that yeah, I don't have any kind of specific achievements in mind, but yeah, it's just more about like seeing whether or not I can have a more mindful life, a more mindful life that I can recognize, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't think it's a thing where it's like too subtle to really notice. Like I'd
Mm,
love to find myself like being much more aware in certain moments where in the past maybe, I kind of like check out or zone out during certain moments of my life. And that's those are times that you won't get back.
yeah,
So I think
that's
that's one
absolutely
of those selling points for sure to call it a selling point. Yeah.
one of the, yeah, main benefits for sure that I've experienced personally as well. Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know I've said this to you a bunch of times, but I really am very proud of all your growth. I've noticed how you have just showed up and showed up and showed up, and it's
Yeah.
really just such a pleasure to be here with you on this
Well, thank
journey.
you.
I really
Yeah.
mean that. All right. I'll talk to you very soon, and bye, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's amazing case study. If you are feeling inspired by Chris's story and you're ready to do the same for yourself, we would love to have you in our community. You can learn more about the program and join us at meditationwithamber.com/become club. And the link will be in the description below for you. All right, take care, and I'll see you very soon.